Good afternoon. My name is John Toller. I'm the CEO of Evergreen Enterprises, and I'm here with the August 15th update for our retail partners across North America. I took last month off because we didn't have a lot of movement on the tariff front, summer markets, those kinds of things. But I wanted to come back to you and kind of give you an update on where we are related to tariffs, pricing, a couple organizational announcements for you to kind of listen, digest, and take in. Starting at the top, summer notes, I would tell you demand came back nicely in June and July on the wholesale side. I think getting past May and the uncertainty, Garden 2026 being released, we had a very good June, and actually July turned out to be the best booking month that we had of the year. And I think that was that pent-up demand we didn't see, that open to buy that was not deployed in maybe in April and May, start to be deployed in June and July. So it was very, very good to see. Garden 2026 product has been exceptionally well received. That's good to see. We personally thought we'd see more fall, Halloween, and Christmas dollars come in the last 60 days from vendors who are failing to deliver, but we've not seen that yet. Talking with retailers in Atlanta, and those retailers have been on campus, it does sound like a lot of the retailers are taking a wait-and-see approach to fall and Christmas, still unsure exactly what they're going to get. And who's going to ship and who's not. And maybe we'll see those dollars deployed later in maybe the next 30 to 60 days. I would tell you, for those channels that we operate in that are closest to the end consumer, Halloween is on fire. Consistent top sellers in those different channels. That's what I'm seeing. So if you have Halloween, get it out. It is checking. I don't know if that is a concern that there's not a lot of Halloween in the market and end consumers are wanting to buy it, or just speaks to what we discussed, maybe one of my earlier updates, a shortage of Halloween goods in the marketplace in general, because that was the season that probably was most impacted due to the tariffs and what transpired in April and May. I also walked several national retailers last week and didn't see a lot of Halloween. Definitely saw some funky assortments. So I'd recommend you go walk the national retailers too to get a sense of what's going on. A tariff update, here's where we are. So when we first started these, these videos and they were coming to you, we were of the belief we would get into the August timeframe and we would have a more durable, longer-term agreement between the United States and China. The deadline, I think, was Monday, was the 12th or 13th, is when we were hoping to have that more durable agreement, and that was the timeline that both countries have put in place. What we saw happen is they deferred that for another 90 days, okay? No changes, but they deferred it for another 90 days. So that durable agreement is probably still not here. Good thing is things have calmed down in terms of the back and forth. The other thing that's being discussed is a meeting in China with President Trump and Xi in October. So we may see something like that transpire where they get together and have an agreement that has a material change on what we're seeing right now. And I would think if there's a material change, it will be a reduction in tariffs, maybe the fentanyl, 10, those kinds of things. But at this point in time, what we're seeing is I think, going to probably stay pretty close. I think the other thing I would really share with you is when we initially started this, we thought a lot of the tariffs would be directed towards China and maybe China only. I think as this developed over the summer and we got past that August 1st timeline, we started to see what the rest of Southeast Asia and the world is looking like. And I think what we're finding globally, 10, 15, 20% seems to be settling in. When we look at Southeast Asia, Vietnam's at 20, Thailand's at 19, Cambodia's at 19. I'll talk about India in a little bit, but the surrounding countries to China are also in those high teens to low 20s. If you look at this and take this into account, initially what we thought may happen is manufacturing may move out of China into these other Southeast Asian countries because there would be such a benefit of cost differential due to tariffs to go into these other countries. What we are seeing now, combined with, I would tell you, the cost advantage China has over Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, which is approximately in our goods and the home goods, 10 to 15%. Things aren't going to move out of China. They're going to stay in China because between the tariff and the price differential, it does not make economic sense to move out of China. That's our take, and that's what I think is going to happen moving forward. So I think what you're going to see is we're going to be operating in the environment as we see right now with some minor changes. And that's really it. I think what you're going to see is basically there won't be a lot of change in pricing moving forward. I don't think, we have repriced the entire assortment. We did that June 1st. I don't think there's any reason we should go back and touch that up right now. I think there was a concern that ocean was going to get really elevated over the summer as people rushed to bring goods in. We're not seeing that. Ocean rates aren't going up. And so with, let's call it a stable tariff regime and a stable ocean market, we will continue to operate as is, no surcharging, none of that kind of stuff on any of the goods for any of the orders that come in, moving forward. And I think that's probably going to stick moving forward for us out there. If we move on to kind of the one other open update that is out there, and that is around India. Many of you have probably seen the 25% put on India, and there's another 25% coming on. Those are related not to trade, but really to India buying Russian oil and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. I think what's going to happen is that will be resolved in the next 30 days. We have paused all shipments out of India until we get clarity on this. This looks a lot like the China escalation we saw in April of this year, where the sides escalate really quickly and then they de-escalate. I would think 30 days from now, India is going to be sitting in the 10 to 20% range, not at the 50, but we have paused all shipments out of India until we get clarity on this. I think what we are also seeing from this administration is these tariffs initially were around trade imbalances, immigration, or fentanyl, are now being used as leverage around a variety of other issues. India, it's Russian oil. Brazil, it's related to a political infighting, I would call it, between two individuals. One happens to be a Trump ally. I think what's going to happen is this chop, I'm going to call it, related to this, is going to be with us, and we're going to have to deal with it from time to time. But it's probably going to stick with us for the duration of his term, is my sense. And if we have to make changes, we'll make changes and we'll communicate them to you. But I do think India will calm down in 30 days and we'll resume shipments out of there. If that, in fact, does not happen, we will reprice our India goods, and we will let you know when we do that. That's pretty much the tariff front to cover off on. I've got a couple organizational updates to share with you. The first is, maybe the most exciting, is we are nearing the completion of a brand new flag factory and distribution center in Ningbo, China. It's a 200,000 square foot facility in which we'll manufacture all of our decorative flags, sassafras mats, a variety of other kind of like products that you know from us. But we also do a lot of warehousing there, loading of containers, direct shipment into Canada to avoid tariffs, a couple other things. And we're excited about that facility. And once it's up and going, we will share pictures with you and images and those kinds of things. It's really cool to see flags being made, and we'd love to share that. Some of you have seen those videos. We'll share more of that going out. And that facility will open up in the first quarter of 2026. The other big kind of organizational update to probably share is we're unveiling a new B2B website for all of our retailers in North America later this month. This is a third or fourth refresh or replatforming of our B2B site. It's vitally important for us. I know it's vitally important for you. In the surveying we do with you, many of you come back, and between 15 and 25% of you have told us that you're procuring 75 to 100% of your assortment online now. And that is certainly a behavior that has changed coming out of COVID, of how much of the buying has moved online, be it vendor website, be it fair. And we want to make sure we're providing the best platform for you to support your efforts out there. This new platform will have enhanced connectivity with our territory managers in terms of sharing carts back and forth. If you're online shopping and you find something you like territory manager, you can do that. Territory manager can do it, obviously sending it to you in the form of the ORC. So a lot of better connectivity there. It's got an improved personalized shopping experience for you. I think we're excited about that. And then it also has a business hub that allows you to quickly get at documents or information you need to support and run your business. So look for that, we call it the Online Resource Center release later this month. And then I think the final note to cover off on is I was in Mexico for a week last week, and we just had teams come back from China. We're still very, very active in India, China, Mexico, trying to find, source, resource products that we think are relevant to include in upcoming product releases, because I do think we're now in that grand reassortment. Here comes tariffs, prices go up. We need to find things that fill historic retail price points, change materials, work with our vendors. How can we keep price points down in an environment in which price points are raising? And so, I would tell you in Mexico, it was pretty good. It's I wouldn't say it's it's not out of control with Americans down there trying to figure out how to source products. I would say it's pretty steady. The feedback I got from the China teams is pretty quiet over there right now in terms of Americans and retailers over there looking for products. We'll see what Canton Fair, if that pops back up. But overall, working really hard from a sourcing standpoint to make sure we bring our upcoming releases of fall, Halloween, Christmas, and licensed sports to you are relevant and appealing. Please reach out with any questions. I can be reached at johnt@myevergreen.com. We are holding weekly conference calls with retailers. If you'd like to participate in one, be it in Canada or the United States, please drop me a note and we'll get you on the list. Thanks again.